Okay guys, so in this video I've actually gone backwards. So I've actually created like the cash flow by now, and fear not, you haven't missed out on any video. I'm just going to try and show you what the cash flow is before we actually jump into making it. So it's important that you understand that you're not supposed to be at this point, but that we are in the next couple of hours together gonna build this specifically. So I think if I just look over here, I can see that in total we have 2 hours of setting up this shot after this video. And basically what it does, just to give you an idea of what we're building, because it's complex, but it's not impossible for anybody to understand. We just need to focus. So basically what it does is that we made estimates, and we have done estimates for every month. And then we have this tab that's called actual. Actual means that that's the spending that we're actually going to do. And you can see down here that I haven't actually typed in anything in this entire line here, because our project isn't going at the moment. So if it was running at the moment, I would keep on updating this cash flow chart. And as I'm updating it, I would see that this difference between what we estimated and the actual number should actually at some point even out. Meaning that if I took this number here, and keep in mind that everything that's in white are the only number areas where we're going to actually type in numbers. Everything else that's gray is not, we're not supposed to touch. So think about it as if it's the shot breakdown, right? It's just everything is based off these numbers, which is our estimate, and everything around that is just based on these things, all these numbers. They're not that complex when we break it down. It's the same thing we do with the cash flow chart here. So as you can see, the cash flow here is divided into two sections. So the top part section here that tells us the actual cash flow, and the lower part section here where we break down the actual expenses on each single person. Basically, we are saying like here is the estimated cash flow that we're estimating, and we can see what is this guy actually earning on this entire project, and how does it affect the money that we're getting in. So if I change this right now, what can we actually use a cash flow chart for is actually pretty need to know. So I guess that's also something we can discuss here. So basically, I've written down like a few numbers here: 25, 65, 65, and 10, equivalent to 100% of all the money that we're supposed to receive. It's important to understand that when we have this number, we can also see if I get in an estimate. So let's see, like here, I get 25% of my money. So this is something that I tell my client, I need 25% of the money up front to get the starting cost covered. We can see I get 13,000 euros in. On this total line here, I'm spending a total on 7,000 all the way down here, except for the initial internal costs. They come here on their own. And you can see they're here. So actually you can see like this is costs and this is income. Yeah, so it's actually crossing itself like multiple places. That makes sense. So when I say like I get 13,000 in, I'm spending 8,000. I'm just taking the rough numbers here. So it means that I'm making 4,500. Then it's important that these numbers don't count yet because the difference can't be made and the actual number can't be made because our production is not yet started. At this point, we're zero in all these things here. These are just our estimates. So we look only at the estimates here. So right now we have 4,000 left of what we spent here. Then in the next month, we get 34,000 from our clients. We can see that. We get 65%. That's what we agreed on. This is just fiction, but it can help us see this. And if we get 34,000 in, I can see that I'm spending 34 on people, and I'm spending around 3,000 on internal costs, which is the equivalent of 37,000. And 37,000 is higher than what we're actually getting in from our clients, but we shouldn't forget that we also have a surplus of 4,000 from last month. So if we take a look at this one here, we can see that this estimate is actually based. The reason why I'm ending on plus 1,400 is because this one plus this last month's surplus of money minus this month's amount of money, and that continues to the next month, right? So we end on a plus 1.4 or 1,499 euros that we translate into the next month, where we receive the last 5,000 from our client. Even though that's like on our delivery date, we receive the last 5,000 euros. This is great because it kind of shows us that we're actually covering all our costs based on all the people, which means that we can pay our people and we are not losing money on this project if we stick to this rule, if we stick to this plan. Whereas if we had just asked our clients to know, as we normally do, like let's do like I don't know, 20% installments, and then we get like 50 here, and then we get like another 30% here. You can see that we would actually get 2,000 in plus from the first month, which is great, but on the second month we only get 26,000 in, but we're actually spending 37,000, which means that we would have to put up 10,000 or 9,000 euros on our own. So we can already tell, like, of course, like if we get our invoices from our artist, we usually say that we pay our artist a month ahead, which means that we will pay here. But it is worth noticing that we will not make money until we actually deliver the final product. There's multiple things that you should think about when you do this. First of all, it's important to understand that if your clients are not financially invested with more than 20%, it's hard to keep them uh, keep them in the loop. Like they'll be more demanding. If you have invested 70% into a project, you also want to see it succeed, right? I mean, I know that nobody wants to lose 20%, but if you need them to commit to something, it's also good that they're committed financially. It's not that people are not committed if they don't have money in it, but it is the honest truth that if they don't have money or anything at stake into a project, they will be much more reluctant to just keep on pushing for more and more artistic stuff. And it should be it's not a one-way conversation when you do these things. You should see your collaboration with your clients as a collaboration and not just a service, because you want them to return. And if they're returning, that means that they're returning clients at that, and that's a great collaboration. That's where you want it. So in this case, what we needed to do is actually ask our clients to give us 20% here and then 60% here in order to actually almost even more. Let's try and do 25 and 65. I think that was where we were, and then 15% here. And then we can actually see, like with 100%, we're gonna end up not 15. Sorry, I'm cheating that. So we don't have 105 in total. Anyway, so we have a profit of 6,000, almost 7,000 euros for a 2 months project, and that's after all our salary is done, and that's after everything is done. So that's actually pretty decent. But I think we can also talk about like how we can make that bigger. Right now, I just want us to get into how we actually built this whole chart and how we set it up manually. So yeah, I'll see you in the next lecture.